Hello, hello, hello. This is Aoife Dean and this is the Happy Weight podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. So it's kind of communion season around here. I am going to my nephew Noah's communion on Saturday. And so I thought it was a good opportunity to talk about all things family gatherings and like eating really nicely at these family or friend gatherings and making really nice memories. And when I was thinking about this earlier, I was like, so what I would have done before for, say, a communion on Saturday is there'd be some times that I'd be like, okay, I have a killer diet starting on Monday. And like, this one is different. This one is going to work. It has to work because I have to lose a certain amount of weight before that holiday. So I'm going to be committed. I'm going to do it so right. And you can eat all the meat or cheese or mayonnaise you want in it. So that really suits me. So that's going to go amazingly well. So therefore, beforehand, I can go nuts. I can go absolutely bananas. So I am going to go crazy at that communion. And so that would have been one of the ways that I would have done it, which is, just shows that the only thing a diet will really guarantee you is weight gain, because, every time I made those plans with diets, sure, life always got in the way and they never went as well as you thought. They never lasted as long as you thought they would. And, people, events, schedule, sickness, so many things came into it that would make you not be able to stick to it, or willpower, or all of those things. So usually with diets, all we've done is we've preloaded the weight. Like we've gained weight before the good Monday. And then usually when we break the diet and, break it magnificently, we're kind of overeating afterwards as well. So I'm very happy those days are gone. My other tactic would have been like, right, I'm going to be good now on Saturday. And depending on whatever diet I was doing, I'd be like, right, I'm going to stick to the foods I'm allowed. I won't even look at the other ones. But I will really, be decent to myself with the ones that I am allowed to eat. So say if I was on like low carb or Atkins or keto or something like that, I'd be like, so I'll go mad on the meat and I'll eat tons and tons and tons of the meat, and I'll eat the bits of salad that don't have dressing on it, and I'll just really spoil myself with them. To make up for the fact and detract myself from the fact that I'm quite lonely for the crackers and the pasta and the potato salad and the desserts and everything. And then no doubt I would have eaten like a disgusting amount of, carb-free foods, and then maybe like an hour later someone brought out dessert, and then be kind of like, screw it, I think I'll have a bit of dessert. And then maybe the bit of dessert would be like, sure, maybe I will go back and have a cracker with cheese. And then, so yet again, like that tactic of being good actually kind of makes sure we're eating more calories than anyone else in the room, because I would have had an abnormal amount of one food to make up for the fact that I didn't have the other food. But in the end, I ended up having the other food anyways. And then I suppose the other part that would have happened is then I would have called that a bad day, which then meant maybe when I got home again, I would eat more. I'd maybe be grossly overfull by the time I went to bed. That bad day could turn into a bad weekend. That bad weekend could turn into a bad week, and kind of would have spiraled from there. So like all of those things, all of those approaches really are weight gain. All of them really are the most likely ending for all of them is weight gain. And during, of course, I would have it would have been very distractingly heavy thinking. It's like, maybe I could have this with this, and maybe if I have that with that. And, so miss the whole bloody point of the situation, which is you are lucky enough to have family, or you are lucky enough to have friends, and you're celebrating probably something lovely. And in a year's time, probably some person won't still be around. I'm sorry to be grim, but sometimes that is the reality of big family events of 3 generations. Not everyone's always going to be around forever, So it's awful for disordered eating to take away from the day, or even all the body obsession and what will I look like, and I look awful and everything. But anyways, what I mainly want to talk today about, of course, is doing it in a lovely way. and creating great memories and having an awesome relationship with food and doing it very, very different than you would have done before. So I have, how many points here? I have like 7 or 8 points to just really approach this brand new, like blank canvas. Let's throw away the past. Let's throw away all our wonky memories of other kind of, family do's or barbecues or whatever. And let's blank canvas, new persona, new attitude, everything. So I suppose the first thing that's changed now that I'm not overweight anymore is I've no plan. Like, I'm not going in there with a plan. I'm not like, this will be carbs only or this will be protein only or no dessert. Not at all. So I am heading into these events as a food lover. I am food positive. I am a food enthusiast. And it's kind of like, what have you got for me? Bring it on. And like getting stuck into everything and smelling bits and tasting bits and, oh, who cooked this? And this looks lovely. And just really food positive, because there is no bigger middle finger you could stick up to an eating disorder than being positive and enthusiastic about food, because eating disorder, disordered eating, weight problems are driven by shame and guilt. So you just faking it till you make it and being positive and enthusiastic and seeing the good in all foods, like seeing the positive sides of every single food, is really breaking the old pattern of calling stuff bad or not allowed or whatever. So that's really, really important. A second point then is vocally click in with your senses. So like I said, it's basically reminding yourself that food and eating is sensory. So this smells amazing. This tastes amazing. Oh my God, don't you love how powdery these are? Don't you love, oh my God, I love the crunch of these. I love the texture. I love the creaminess, whatever it might be, really. Because what you're doing here is, it's kind of like affirmations and everything. Stuff sticks more when you hear yourself talking like a new person. So you don't sound like a dieter. Do you know what I mean? If you're like, oh my God, can I have more cheese on that, please? And like, I love that. Like, I even remember that for myself. It was really like steam coming out of my ears because, I could feel my brain changing, because it was like, who is she and what has she done with Aoife? Why is she asking for more bread? Or, why is she being positive about the chocolate? Doesn't she know chocolate is bad? You know what I mean? So this is a real fake it till you make it. Like, if it's a big step to be food positive and a food enthusiast, like, say the words anyway. Like, put those words in your mouth of like, oh, this smells amazing, or this tastes amazing, or like, oh my God, you make the best cheesecake, or whatever it might be. Start sounding like someone who doesn't have a weight problem or eating issues. And then the next one is rank the foods. So I would rank them as the showstoppers. Like, you are not leaving this building, this party, this garden without eating these things. They are amazing. In my case now, that would be like my sister-in-law, Eliza, makes, like, she's Texan, and she makes all these amazing cheesy yummy dips. Like, she makes warm dips for like Doritos or tortilla chips. Like, she makes cheese balls. She makes all these just dippy, yummy, cheesy things. So it's like, there's not a hope I'd be leaving Fiona's party on Saturday or Noah's communion without eating them. My other sister-in-law, God bless my two brothers, they both married women who can cook. It's such a blessing to us all. But Louise, everything she touches is amazing. So anything she will be making, I will be eating. Fiona makes pineapple upside down cake, which is amazing, and nostalgia. Fiona's my sister, and she used to make it growing up. So that's definitely going to be good. Yvonne is staying in Kinsale, so she'll be clearing out gourmet pantry, I think, before she comes to the communion. And they have, I was with my friend Suzanne there the other week, and we had salted caramel eclair kind of balls. They weren't even like the full size eclairs, they were balls. So I might actually ask her to bring them. And then Dave, Fiona's husband, he will be probably doing all things meat. I don't know, are they doing barbecue? They do like really amazing beef and stuff. So they're all my showstoppers anyway. They are on the list. They are all the things that I'm probably not going to leave this communion without. Then, right, there's the layer of things that they're gorgeous, but you maybe don't have room for. Because considering your stomach is prime real estate, you're using food to feel gorgeous. You want to be driving down the road afterwards being like, oh my God, that was amazing. So, there's obviously a fine line between feeling amazing and feeling like, oh my God, I feel disgusting. And it's like, you don't deserve that. No matter how one could make themselves feel disgusting, you don't deserve that on any level, through any method. You do not deserve to make yourself feel disgusting. So food is exactly the same. So there might be foods that they're gorgeous, but you don't really have room, in the prime real estate that is your belly. You mightn't have room for them. So they could be something that you squirrel away a little lunchbox of and take home, because that could be so nice when you come home from work the next day or whatever, or, nice for breakfast or nice for anything. Like I like the novelty of kind of sweets for breakfast sometimes. Like I'm generally an eggs person, but like say it this now, if I get a slice of cake, like that could be gorgeous on Sunday morning with a coffee. Like that, like it's a nice like novelty breakfast. Do you know what I mean? And the other thing is it's gorgeous, but maybe you can buy it in the shop. Like, maybe there's nice lasagna there, but like you're pretty decent at making lasagna, or you actually know a really nice one that you could buy. So that's maybe not going to be the priority for the limited space that is your belly. And then, so we've the showstoppers, the gorgeous but maybe no room. And then I would say the third ranking is they're not your thing. And basically, I think the more food that's around, the higher your standards have to be. So do not waste any belly space on something that's not your thing. Like as in, if there's amazing garlic potatoes or whatever, and you want to fill up 50% on garlic spuds, do not be filling yourself with, I don't know, I can't even think of a filler that's always at parties and buffets. I don't know, you can maybe think of one, but like, something that's just there for the sake of being there. And like, so like those kind of things, don't use any belly space on them anyways. I think that's actually a really important change when we change our weight. Like I think what I've learned from myself and from working with people is that actually weight comes from the foods you don't love. So we want to make a gorgeous experience with the foods we do love. And the price we pay for that is not a hope are we eating the ones that we don't love. Not a hope. We can eat them any other time. And also, if we're unsettled with the word no, if it brings up a kind of scarcity feeling in us, no actually means that you've found something way nicer. So you're going to have the other thing later or another day, So anything you don't eat at the barbecue or the communion or whatever, make a date for it, like say, God, I'm going to have that on Monday night for dinner, or geez, I forgot about those. I'm going to start having them for lunch. But like, no is only ever not right now, And then the next one is, remember, food is a slave for you. Like all of those things and bowls and plates and casserole dishes staring up at you from the table, they are there for you. They are there to make you feel well. They're working for you. So, it's I suppose it's just another way of saying again that they are there to make you feel good. So you're not under their control. They're auditioning for you. Like I said, your stomach is prime real estate. You can, like, depending on, how hungry or whatever, generally we've a decent amount of space to go from hungry to happily, cozy, stuffed, full belly. And then we don't want to go into the ick. We don't want to go uncomfortable. So just remember that all of this selection of foods is there to make you feel well. Like it's working for you. I think that's a nice way of looking at it too. And then the next one is set an intention that you are going to be making nice memories with food. And there is no plan B. There is no plan B. You are going to make it happen. You are going to make nice memories with food. So that means no, did I mess up there? Oh, geez, I don't think oh God, I think I ate too much. Oh geez, am I back to my old ways? Oh geez, was that too much? None of that crap. Like, all of this, to be honest, is in our head. Like, disordered eating is actually just disordered thinking. And so if you set an intention that come hell or high water, I will be having a nice time at this communion, and I will be positive with food, and I will be positive with food before, during and after. I will be using food to create positive memories, and I will not back down on that intention. So if I hear my mind wandering off into, oh geez, I think you're the fattest one here, or I think you ate way more than her, or look at you now with your carbs, oh you're back on them, are you? Or whatever bitchy, horrible voice you hear in your head, shut it down. You know, you've probably lived with it long enough if you're listening to this podcast. So, like, Wayne Dyer has a saying, doesn't he? I think, well, Wayne Dyer has a book called The Power of Intention. But half the time we're going wrong in life because we didn't have an intention to begin with. So if we don't set an intention for, it is important for me to have a nice family day here and enjoy my food, there's a high chance we won't. And there's a high chance, like, you know, I just look back at some of my eating and weight issues anyway, and I was just an ungrateful old misery guts. Do you know what I mean? Because I wasn't grateful for the family gathering. I wasn't grateful for all this delicious food. I was just scared of it and guilty and fearful of what it would do for me and all the rest of it. And so we have to change everything to love. And I know that sounds corny, but it only sounds corny and cliche because it's the truth of everything. So, you know, it, like I said, it's like, don't back down. You are going to make it a nice time, and you're not taking no for an answer from your brain. You are not going to like go down the road of back to misery, negativity, whatever. You're not doing it. And like, the thing is, we can overeat and still be positive. Like, you know, we can be uncomfortably full and still be positive. Like, at no stage of the game do you need to indulge in negativity and self-criticism. It doesn't help. It doesn't work. And that's the main thing we have to change if we're changing our body weight and our eating, of course. Okay, so I think I hammered that one a bit too much. Sorry about that. Now, next point. Pretend you have to write a food review after you leave. So if you're a client of mine, pretend that you are coming back to me with a full report on the foods that were there. So like you're a food connoisseur, or you're working for the New York Times and you're a restaurant critic or something, and you're going to be explaining the taste, the texture, the aroma, the feeling, how salty it was. Like, you're explaining everything in great detail. So if after you were leaving this party, you had to write a crazy detailed review of the food, what it would do to you is it would make sure that you stay in your body and you get out of your mind. Because like I said, our mind is the sewer when it comes to eating and weight issues. It's all the, oh God, how many calories is this? And what does this mean for my weight? And God, is this a load of fat? Is this bad for my heart? And oh geez, and I done no exercise now today, and here I am eating all of this. And, you know, so our mind is just on about all these bullshit things that don't have anything to do with the party we're at, but have ever, like, we're just going on and on about the past and the future and the past and the future. And anxiety is basically not being present. Do you know what I mean? Like, depression is looking back, anxiety is looking forward. So we're really getting our knickers in a twist being in our head at all when it comes to eating. So like I said, remember, food is a sensory experience. And like, the thing is with, like, you know, gluttony and greed, because I was thinking about that before, like if I was kind of the old me who was like, sure, there's a great diet starting on Monday that I'm definitely going to do amazingly at, even though history suggests I've never done well on a diet, but this one will be different and I will do amazing. So I get to just eat everything, and then I just be gorging and greedy. And what I figured out in the car home there was, like, gorging and greedy is basically not being mindful and not being appreciative. Like, the food might as well go in the bin, because, you know, if we're gorging, if we're just stuffing it down, if we're being greedy, or if we're in our thoughts and in our head and we've eaten the whole thing, we barely tasted, we barely remembered it, like, that's gorging, that's greedy, that's treating ourselves like a bin and having absolute disrespect for the food. So what I'm saying about writing the little essay, I suppose, or pretending that you're going to write a little essay afterwards, is it will keep you in your taste buds, your belly, like everything from the nose down really is is the key to our healthy eating and our healthy weight, is everything from the nose down. So it's shutting off the brain. And that's why people with a great relationship with food have such a great relationship with food. And, like you see like chefs and stuff who are really passionate about food and they're not overweight or anything. It's because when someone is in a good place with food, like eating is pretty close to meditation because they're so in the moment and they can just focus on the feeling of on their tongue or the feeling in their belly. So it's getting them out of all the noise of the past or the future. And that's why it's such a positive, eating is such a positive experience when people have a good relationship with food. So yeah, stay from the nose down and get as much physical detail about the food, collect as much physical detail about the food as you can. And then the next one is, and this is more for before and the week before and all the rest of it, but keep visualizing it as you want it to be. Because I suppose probably the number one mistake people make, and I certainly made, was like, oh geez, is it going to be like the last time where I feel uncomfortable in my dress and I hate the photos and I think everyone's looking at me and I can't control myself with the food. It's like, like the thing is that, the whole point of visualization, the whole point why it works, why it's research proven, etc., is because your brain doesn't know the difference between visualizing the future, memory, and current reality. But it's easier for your brain to just copy and paste stuff it's already done. So you don't want to keep visualizing / memorizing all the times you overate, all the times you felt gross at a party or whatever, because you don't want your brain to just be like, oh, sure, you're here and that's what you do here, isn't it? So instead, keep, down to the smallest detail, imagine it how you'd like to go. And I always think the most important things to visualize is how you'll feel choosing the food on the buffet, how you'll choose standing with your plate, chatting to someone, eating, and how you'll feel driving down the road afterwards and walking into your own house that night and lying in bed that night looking back on the day. So I think they're the ones to really get clear on how you would like to feel. And then repeat, right? Because there's this, there's some saying in the book, A Course in Miracles, and it's something like, if you want the keys to heaven, you need to be willing to see nothing else. So generally speaking, when I start with a client and I ask them, how often do you think of fatness, heaviness, calories, overeating, obesity, getting fatter, etc., and how often do you think of slimness, lightness, happiness, getting slimmer, getting healthier, reaching my potential, blah, blah, blah. And, for most people, it's a 99-1 split, and that's why they're in a bad place. So now it's like, and every time you do hear your mind being like, oh, sure, it's going to be the same as always. Who are you kidding? And you're going to feel awful and you're going to eat everything and blah, blah, blah. Be like, oh, pet, you're doing it again. You're doing it. Like you're gone. That's what you don't want, remember? That's what you don't want. So what is it that you do want? Treat your brain like it's a toddler. The way sometimes a toddler is screaming, it's like, I don't want it. And then you're like, but what do you want, Pettine? You know what I mean? Like they're so emotional, they can't even tell you what they want, but you would give them what they want if they could just tell you. And so now it's the same with our brain. It's like, no, let's design where we are going to end up so we can get there. And that's the whole thing. Okay, I'll stop rambling soon. But most people think that their goal is seeing a number on the scales, in the future. But then the problem with that goal is you don't know if today you're moving closer or further away from it. But when you visualize the day and you're clear on the kind of persona you would have and how you'd feel or look like or sound like or talk like at all the different timestamps, 11 a.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 8 p.m., whatever, if you've that all laid out in your head, well, then then you can tell very much on that Saturday, are you moving closer to the person that you're becoming? Are you moving closer to your goal, or are you moving further away from it? So visualize and repeat exactly how you'd like it to go. So then you know where you're going basically on Saturday. You know how it will play out because you've seen it in your head so many times. Wow, I thought this was going to be a short one, but it wasn't. So thanks so much for listening. I hope it was a great help. And one more thing, family can be triggering. And I heard this quote or something the other day, and it was, irritation is the price you pay for community. So if you didn't have family, if you didn't have friends, you wouldn't have as much irritation. But we want our family and we want our friends, so we want all that irritation, Anyways, slight tangent there. Yeah, thanks for listening and have a lovely, lovely week. Check out my website, happyweight.ie. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, I would love to work with you too. And take care. Have a lovely week.